Hello guys, it is Wraith. Today, I am going to be reading Best of Redditor Updates. I know that like the Am I the Earhole Reddit updates are very, very trendy. So yeah, let's get started. Am I the A for insisting that I have nothing to apologize for after my husband read my diary? Okay. I'm trying to stay focused here, but I have kept my diary since I was 10. It is my form of therapy, and I do not police my thoughts. I have never let anyone read my diary. My husband and I started dating over a decade ago. One day, a couple of months in, he was over at my apartment, and I had hopped in the shower. When I came out, he was One day, a couple of months ago, he was over at my apartment, and I had hopped in the shower. When I came out, he was sitting on the bed, shell shocked. He said he read my journal, which was mostly about my life as a newly single woman. He told me it really stung to read all that. But wait, hold on. How'd you find it? He said he was looking for matches. He couldn't tell me why he kept reading even after he knew what it was, but his apology was sincere and I forgave him. Not too long after that, things got messy. He started getting either very sad or very angry while referring to things he read. His feelings were so intense that I started apologizing for my thoughts. Anyway, we got married. A decade later, I was thinking of a divorce and wrote a ton to process my thoughts about some sensitive topics. Again, he stumbled upon my journal and read it all. I was pissed, but he convinced me that he would never do it again. Besides, he was really hurt by the things I wrote, and I felt bad. I let it go, but he started getting sad or angry again, thinking about the things he had read. Once more, the intensity of his feelings led me to apologize for my thoughts. Now, here we are, married with kids, setting up Scrabble on a Friday night. He went to find a piece of paper and came back quiet and distracted. I asked if everything was okay. He looked at me sharply and told me that he just read my journal. I tensed, thinking of how I recently tackled some tough feelings related to our different ethnic and religious backgrounds. I wrote things that would have been hurtful to read, and I was mortified knowing that he did read them. But I was also annoyed. Wait, you read my journal again? He blamed me. He blamed me for leaving it out and accused me of being a bad person for what I wrote. But honestly, I wasn't listening to him anymore. I just wanted to know why we were dealing with this again. It's pretty fucking basic knowledge that one shouldn't read another person's diary, right? But I look at him forcing his way into my brain. But look at him, forcing his way into my brain and shaming me for what he saw. I surprised myself by slamming my hands on the table. A third time? We were both hurt, but he was accusing me of overreacting while minim we were both hurt, but he was accusing me of overreacting while minimizing and deflecting from his behavior. He called me over emotional and when I he called me overly emotional when I cried over how violated I felt. This feels so wrong, like I committed a thought crime. So, am I the A for insisting he's 100% wrong? I'm so mad, but I am doubting whether my reaction was proportional to what he did. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being terrible, what would you rate someone reading your journal? Would you apologize for the things you wrote? So, like I said, there's an update. So I'm going to give my opinion real quick. No, I do not think she is the a-hole. This is clearly like she said, this has happened many times, many times. And if he gets so sad and so upset every time he ends up reading her journal, if he finds it, he can like ignorance is bliss. If he finds it, he can just let it be. Like he has full capability to just put the book down and not read it. It's not like difficult. He could just go on with his day and finish what he's trying to do. But he clearly is trying to spark issues and make problems. That's why he didn't just let it go. Edit. Thank you for all of, damn it. Edit. Thank you for all of your comments. I am overwhelmed. For those suggesting therapy, I have been in it for a long time, and I credit for listening to the little voice in my head instead of ignoring it. Therapy gave me the insight to see what he was doing in real time. For those saying you're the asshole and everyone here sucks, I can say that this type of behavior has been normalized so much for me that I have been gaslit so long that I automatically convinced myself that it wasn't that bad. I feel like I'm emerging from the upside down and I and I have to relearn basic social norms. You have no idea how sad all of this makes me. Update. We talked today, and he continued to minimize what he did and kept steering the conversation to how hurt he was reading what I had wrote. I kept asking him if I shared those things willingly with him. When he said no, I told him that then he can deal with the consequences of his own actions by himself, and I kept stressing to him what a big violation and that I needed space to think. That I kept stressing to him what a big violation it was and that I needed space to think. I don't. Oh my god. I guess he's been stewing about it for the last few hours because tonight he started to yell at me in front of our kids and angrily tell him about what I wrote. He literally told them that I don't like that they're from his culture. Fuck man, why are you hurting them? To hurt me? I was pleading with him to stop and trying to cover his mouth. The kids were shrieking and sobbing, and he was yelling and wild eyed. The chaos of tonight just broke me. I had flashbacks of my childhood, screaming and crying on a stairwell, watching. Oh my gosh, my father go after my mother. Long ago, I had promised that I would never put my children through something like that. I tried to get them out of the house since he wasn't stopping, but we only got as far as my car when the three of us sat crying while I kept apologizing to them and trying to reassure them. God, how did it get to this point? Oh my gosh. Again, so far not the A. Let's read the second update. Hey Reddit, here's an update to my post from a couple of weeks ago. I will keep the update itself brief. The kids and I are safe, and I am divorcing my husband. Good for you. The incident that I posted about this was so jarring that I could no longer downplay the abuse. I understood then that it would be much. I understood. I understood that it would be so much worse for my kids to grow up in a household like that than to grow up with divorced parents. I did not want to take this opportunity to talk to people who seemed flabbergasted that I had not left him earlier. I know Reddit can be cruel sometimes, but to shame someone for staying in an abusive relationship is just so ignorant. A person stays with an abuser for a myriad of reasons: fear, shame, mental health issues, lack of resources, lack of support, lack of money, the partner's coercive control, etc. Please educate yourself on abusive relationships before writing judgmental comments. In my case, I stayed because he was so good at manipulating and gaslighting and sowing doubt and confusion that I started taking notes during arguments because I felt like I was going crazy. He would say things to and then deny up and down that he said them. He would tell me that I misinterpreted his words or that I had a bad memory or that I had anger issues. Meanwhile, he was the one punching at walls, breaking things, lying, and following me from room to room as I was trying to get away from him. After years and years of this, I only left when I saw how much staying would hurt my kids. To those in emotionally abusive relationships like mine, I want you to know that I see you. Even this is real abuse, even if it doesn't leave physical scars. Holy shish kababi. That was a lot. Okay. Yeah. Also, side note, 0% chance that he just went through her journal those 3 times. 0% chance. I do not believe that he had only went through that journal 3 times. Genuinely. Let's read the comments. There's no way he only read her diary those 3 times. Yep. Um, yeah, and one of the replies says, agreed, he only reacted those 3 times because he had something to manipulate her with. Yeah. Um, and then They replied to the thing saying he would. Where did it go? They replied to the thing and said, "He said he was looking for matches. He couldn't tell me he couldn't tell me why he kept reading even after he knew what it was, but his apology was sincere and I forgave him." Yeah, that's just weird. Surely one picks up a book. This is not matches. The person puts it back and doesn't read it because that's clearly not matches. Yeah, like somebody said, I don't even read the notes I find in my kids' pockets while doing laundry. The rare times I had to search their room for health and safety reasons, I always told them what I'd done the same day and explained why it was necessary. I insisted they put their own clean clothes away because if they keep more in the sock drawer than socks, it's none of my business. And that was for stepkids, not even an equal partner in marriage. Just seems like pretty basic respect to not nose around in stuff that isn't yours. Yeah, yeah. Like, somebody said, I have a journal, and while I don't use it often and probably wouldn't care that much if someone read it, the thing would be tiring to explain is that I only write when I'm at my lowest. The impression it would give of me is not representative at all. Yeah, like, am I the a-hole for breaking up with my fiance over an ultimatum over my ring? Okay. This is my first time posting here, so I'm sorry if I make any mistakes and throw away because my ex knows my main. For context, I, 34 female, was married before I got to my. Hold on. For context, I, 34 female, was married before to my childhood sweetheart. We started dating at 16 and got married at 20. He passed away when we were 25, and I haven't dated anyone until 2 years ago when I met my ex-fiance, 38 male. Let's call him Matthew for the sake of the post. I told him about my late husband and made it clear for me and his family that we were wait. For me and his family, we're still family, and that I visit the cemetery at least twice a month to clean and stuff. He agreed, and after he proposed, he wanted to go to the cemetery with me to pay his respects. Anyway, I still wore my wedding ring until my fiance proposed, and let's be honest, I wasn't ready to part with my ring. And I was talking about taking it and I was talking about it with my mother-in-law, and she gave me a gold necklace and told me to put the wedding ring on there, and I did. I was very happy with my new necklace, and when I got home, Matthew realized I only have his engaged ring on me and was happy and said I find hold on. He And when I got home, Matthew realized I only have his engagement ring on me and was happy and said finally decided to get rid of the other one, and I said of course not, and I showed him the necklace. He just changed the subject. Fast forward 10 days ago, I was going to wash my hair, so I took off the necklace and put it on the nightstand after I got out of the bathroom. I realized Matthew wasn't home anymore, but I thought he went on the walk or a supermarket or something. When I dried all my hair, I went to sleep. The next morning, I tried to put my necklace back, but couldn't find it. I panicked and started crying. I made a mess everywhere trying to find it. I called Matthew, but he didn't answer. I left voicemails, and after 2 hours, he came home and found me crying in our apartment, a mess. He asked what happened, and I told him I lost my ring. He helped me look for it, and after a while, he had told me we'd eventually find it, and he made me some tea to calm down. Well, Matthew's mom called me last Wednesday and asked if she could come to visit, and I said yes. After some small talk, she got quiet and then said, I came here to return something, but you must not tell Matthew about it. Then she took my ring out of her purse and handed it to me. I once again started sobbing, holding my ring, and she just consoled me. After I calmed down a bit, Matthew went to her house a couple of days ago and asked if he could keep something at her house because it was a surprise and he didn't want me to find out, and she said yes and to put it in her drawer with her things. When she went to look for her reading glasses in the drawer, she saw a little box and got curious and opened it. She immediately recognized my ring because it's unique. I showed her before, so she grabbed it and came to find me. She said she doesn't understand why he did that or what he wanted to do with the ring, but she knew it's not right and I'd be devastated. She asked me to not tell him she gave my ring back and said she supports me whatever I wanted to do. I didn't even have to think about it. I packed all my shit and went to my mom's house. I blocked him everywhere, and although I thought about leaving a note or something, but I didn't think he deserves it after what he did. I only left his ring behind and left. I have been at my mom's since she lives in another city. Matthew's been trying to contact me ever since, calling every single person he knows has my number, including my mother. My mother and my brother are full on my side and told him they don't know about me, but my friends are pressuring me into talking to him, but none of them know what he did. I'm planning on changing my phone number or something because I can't handle it anymore. My mother-in-law told me to stay with her for a while because my ex would most likely come looking for me at my mom's or my brother's. I think I'll do that because I feel so tired, but at the same time I'm starting to question if I handled it the right way or if I was being immature or something. No, Matthew over here is a little fucking dickhead. Okay? Okay. A little I'll let a little edit here because some people are repeating the same thing. I think some of you try to relate losing a spouse and breaking up with somebody is not the sense. Wait. I think some of you try to relate losing a spouse and breaking up with somebody is not the same in a sense. I don't think any widow/widower out there ever stopped loving their late spouse. Do I need therapy? Maybe. But don't we all? And for people who think I never gave Matthew his place, I'll leave it here. I talked to him and told him to talk to me if something bothers him. When we moved in together, he asked me if I could not bring all the pictures I had of my late husband, and I agreed. He asked if he could visit the cemetery less frequently than I did. He asked me if I could take my ring off when I showed him the ring and the little chain. He said, "Okay, 5 minutes crafts," and said it's actually cute as a pendant. I don't know what else he wanted from me. I never dismissed or ridiculed any of his concerns or feelings. I was always willing to talk openly about anything, and he decided not to talk to me about it, and there's not really anything I can do. Relevant comments. I zoned out. Guys, hold on. Oops. Um, I gotta look at which, like, the last part I read. Okay, not the A. Good for you for walking away now. The thing that gets me is that he helped you search for a ring that he had stolen. Then Opie replied and said, "Honestly, it made me a little scared. What else is he capable of hiding/acting like everything is fine?" Not the A. I could understand him having feelings about the ring and asking you not to wear it daily. Him taking it and watching you sob over it is insane behavior. Yeah. And then Opie replied and said, "We talked about it, and he said the ring as a necklace was a good compromise, and he said he would tell me if things changed, but he decided to try and get rid of it on his own is honestly heartbreaking. I think some people forget that late spouses are not technically exes. You didn't break up with them, they died. It's not the same situations, and the feelings are also way different from a breakup." Update. I want to clarify some things before giving the update. First, I miswrote the title the first time, and I'm pretty sure I can't change it, so the update stays like this. For the people saying I don't love my ex-fiance and that I didn't get over my late husband, I don't think people know how a dead spouse works here. He's not an ex, we didn't separate. Do you get over it after a parent or another loved one passed? And those saying that I wasn't ready, and to those saying that I wasn't ready, maybe, but the things already happened and I was honest and willing to compromise with him if he decided he wasn't okay with the things. He should have he should have left or spoken to me like adults. I first of all contacted all of my friends and told them what happened. They were obviously shocked, and the majority of them backed off after I sent a text to everyone saying I didn't want to talk about this, but since everyone needs to meddle, I'll do it. Matthew decided to steal my ring and hide it from me, and when he saw how distressed and heartbroken I was, of coming instead of coming clean, he helped me look for it, and then told me everything I needed to know about him. I'm not looking for advice nor opinions about this. I just want my choices to be respected, and anybody who comment on it would be blocked. I also contacted Matthew's mother, and she said he already knows, so I can talk to him freely. Then I made my brother contact Matthew to tell him I wanted the chain back. Hold on. That I wanted the chain back and that I was willing to hear his side of the story just for closure because we weren't getting back together no matter what. We met on a Thursday and I brought my brother with me for support. When Matthew arrived, his eyes started to well up huh? And he apologized. Wait, and he wanted to hug me, but my brother told him to not even try and just sit down. He gave me the chain and started to apologize over and over and tried to hold my hands over and over, so I put my hands under the table. I asked him, this person's grammar is horrible. I asked him what exactly he wanted to do with my ring, and he said he wanted to get rid of it because I was basically still married to a dead man, but he couldn't. I was basically. Hold on, guys. Because I was basically still married to a dead man, but he couldn't throw it away at the end, so a friend of him suggested to make my new wedding ring out of it. He said he was going to get it melted and make a whole new ring out of it, so it was some sort of loophole because I was only wearing our new ring but couldn't get mad because it was made out of the original. Not gonna lie, I started to tear up because I thought of him destroying my ring like that, and already coming up with excuses was heartbreaking. He also said that when he saw me panicking, he wanted to tell me the truth but realized it would have been worse for him, so he pretended to help me look instead. He also admitted that he wasn't okay with me wearing the ring or basically me not pretending like I was married before. He said I he said that when he saw me panicking, or he also admitted, wait, what? He also admitted that he wasn't okay with me wearing the ring or basically me not pretending like I was never married before. He said he knows I told him if he wasn't okay with things to talk to me or to just break up, but he said that he didn't want to lose, so he kept quiet, expecting me to just forget about my late husband. And when I didn't, he started to resent me even when I compromised with him. He said it wasn't enough, but he knew talking about it would have ended up in us splitting, so he never said anything. He once again apologized and said he wanted to change and promised to communicate better and asked if we could get couples counseling before breaking up completely, but I declined. I told him I didn't trust him anymore and that he spent a long time lying and pretending, so I don't even know what else he was lying about at this point. Both of us were crying, and he said, so you really are going to choose the dead man over me? I told him that not really, and it has nothing to do with my late husband that I was breaking up with him because he lied, deceived, manipulated, and stole from me. So this was about him and his actions and not about anything else. My brother and I left Matthew's my brother and I left and Matthew stayed at the restaurant. He is still blocked everywhere. I decided to go to my mother-in-law's, my late husband's mom's house, and I'm currently here. My family decided to spend Christmas with her and her family, but they're still have but they still have work, so I'm the only one here for now. It feels healing. She has most of my pictures with her son, and I miss him more than ever. I tried to book an appointment with a therapist, but she said the earliest appointment she has is early March, so I'm still looking for something a little more early, like January or early February. I, s- I think that it's nothing, I think that nothing really dramatic happened, but I feel tired, and as much as I miss Matthew, I don't think I would be able to just forgive and forget, and I think he deserves someone with more normal dating history, like someone who hates her ex or something. For my part, I would be single for a long time. I don't think I can handle something like this again. I don't really mind being single though. I have an amazing family and great friends. Maybe marrying again is just not in the cards for me and that's okay. That's all. I'm actually excited about Christmas again after a long time. Merry Christmas to all. Holy shish kababi, this person's grammar is horrible. I'm sorry, but it is terrible. I've had a stroke. There is no punctuation. Relevant comments. First off, nothing Matthew did is appropriate or defendable. He absolutely had every opportunity to talk to you like adults and discuss all of this with you before stealing your ring. However, it is pretty telling that after all of this, you go to your late husband's mom's house and to continue to grieve him. I just do not think you're fully ready to be in another relationship. OP responded and said, I decided to go to my mother in law's house because I didn't want to deal with the possibility of Matthew coming to my house drunk or something like that, and he doesn't know where she lives. I honestly thought I was ready because I really loved Matthew, but I let maybe maybe I let all of the people "you're so young, you should date again" get to my head. Yeah, no, she's not the A. Period, point blank. Matthew is just a jealous like fucking um weirdo. He's so weird. So yeah, no, she is not the A, but she needs to go back to grammar classes because I had a stroke reading this. Um, I think I'm going to end that for today because I have 30 minutes of footage to edit. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Come back again and soon, hopefully in January or February, I will be releasing a new song. Have a nice day. Peace out.